Chapter 1: The Threads of Luminara. In the heart of Luminara, a city where neon lights intertwined with the hum of ancient magic, Elara, 27, stood at the precipice of her destiny. Her PhD in ethereal weaving, a rare art that manipulated the threads of fate, was nearing its end, a culmination of 7 grueling years in this foreign land. Born in a distant South Asian valley where the air thrummed with ancestral chants, Elara had crossed oceans to master the craft, her dark eyes reflecting both determination and the weight of her heritage. The job market loomed like a storm cloud, but her diverse friend group, scholars, graduates, and dreamers, had been her refuge for 2.5 years. Luminara was a marvel, its spires piercing a sky streaked with auroras, its streets alive with the glow of rune-carved lanterns. The city's magic pulsed through its people, a blend of innovation and mysticism. Elara's apartment, a modest tower overlooking the celestial quarter, was her sanctuary, filled with scrolls, weaving tools, and the faint scent of jasmine incense from home. Her friends, Torin, 27, a gentle soul studying healing runes; Kale, 24, a restless adventurer; Ridian, 28, an aloof scholar with a sharp wit; and others, formed a tapestry of support. Yet, one thread stood out. Selene, 30. Selene, a former ethereal weaver turned arcane council advisor, had been Elara's closest confidant. Their bond began with late-night discussions over steaming tea, sharing dreams of mastering fate's loom. Selene's auburn hair and commanding presence made her a natural leader, but her edges were rough, controlling, sometimes rude. Elara, who believed in embracing people's flaws, clung to their friendship, even as Selene's critiques grew sharper. "You weave too cautiously," she'd say, her tone laced with judgment. Elara brushed it off, valuing their history. Chapter 2: The Tangled Weave. Last year, Selene's life shifted when she began courting Kale. His boyish charm and wanderlust drew her in, and their romance became the group's centerpiece. Around the same time, Selene's focus turned to Elara's personal life. Elara, who had never woven a romantic thread, guarded that privacy like a sacred spell. Her sensitivity stemmed from her upbringing. Love was a luxury her family deemed secondary to duty. But Selene was relentless, pressuring her to entangle with Torin. "He's perfect for you," she'd insist, her voice a mix of encouragement and command. "You can't stay alone forever." Elara's explanations, her focus on studies, her reluctance to bind, fell on deaf ears, leaving her exhausted. Meanwhile, Ridian's presence evolved. Once a distant figure, his arrogance keeping him from group events unless dragged, he began appearing more often. His silver hair and piercing blue eyes softened with each encounter, his sarcasm giving way to attentiveness. During a work trip to Mistral, a coastal town famed for its celestial alignments, fate intervened. A rare snowstorm closed the roads, stranding them. Elara's rented tower became their refuge, its hearth crackling as they shared stories. Ridian's laughter, usually rare, filled the rain, and for the first time, Elara saw beyond his facade. Nothing physical passed between them, but the night wove a new thread of understanding. Back in Luminara, Ridian's transformation deepened. Inside jokes, the Snow Prince's thaw, and quiet gestures marked their growing bond. Friends noticed, their whispers a soft hum. Selene, however, saw opportunity. She hounded Elara to weave a romantic bond with Ridian, dismissing Elara's reasons: her studies, her resolve to stay in Luminara, and Ridian's impending return to his northern homeland. "You're wasting a perfect thread," Selene snapped one evening, her eyes flashing. Chapter 3: The Unraveling. The turning point came after a group outing to the starlit bazaar. Elara, drained from weeks of research, fell ill. Ridian offered a ride home in his rune-lit carriage. As they paused in the parking lot, the city's glow casting shadows, he confessed. "Elara, I've felt something for you since Mistral," he said, his voice raw. "But I'll respect whatever you choose." Touched, she explained her path, her PhD, her roots, her inability to leave. "Let's stay friends," she proposed, Rydian nodded, promising to honor her boundaries. Their friendship strengthened, a quiet joy amidst her chaos. Selene's reaction was a storm. She accused Elara of thread teasing, a term for manipulating emotions without commitment. "It's disgusting," she yelled during a group dinner, her voice cutting through laughter. "You'll end up alone, unraveling in the dark." Her insults grew personal, targeting Elara's heritage. The group fell silent, but Elara held her ground, retreating to her studies. The tension peaked when Elara hosted a gathering, unknowingly aligning it with Rydian's birthday. Friends suggested a surprise cake, and she agreed, her heart lightening. An hour before, Selene stormed in. "You're flaunting for him?" she accused, her words venomous. "Your foreign weave makes you unlovable. You'll die single." The room spun. Elara nearly cancelled, salvaged only by Torin's calm presence. The night proceeded, but her joy was a fragile thread. Stress overwhelmed her. She fainted. Awakening, she found Rydian, Torin, and Kale tending her, their anger at Selene simmering. "Let it go," she whispered, unwilling to weave conflict. Chapter 4. The Karmic Storm. Weeks later, a friend's celestial bonding ceremony brought the group together. A teenage relative, enchanted by the magic, mistook Elara and Rydian for a pair, inviting them to dance. They clarified with laughter, but Selene's voice sliced through. "Friends with benefits." The room stilled, eyes wide. Elara fled, her vision blurring, followed by Torin and Kale. Karma struck at the after-party. Selene caught Kale entwined with a stranger, their bond shattering in a torrent of tears. Humiliated, she sought Rydian for solace, pounding on his door. "I need you," she pleaded. Rydian, loyal to Elara, refused. "Leave," he said, his voice cold. Word spread. Friends distanced themselves, and Selene retreated to her family's estate, her weave in tatters. Chapter 5. The Weave of Closure. Elara, no seeker of revenge, felt the stars' justice. She hypothesized Selene's cruelty stemmed from her failing bond with Kale, insecurity about Elara's independence, or a hidden envy for Rydian. Yet she craved peace. In her study, she wove a spell of closure, her fingers tracing runes. The stars pulsed, revealing a vision, Selene alone, her regret a mirror to her actions. Elara released the spell, letting the cosmos balance the weave. Months later, her PhD complete, Elara stood on Luminara's highest spire. Rydian, now a friend and colleague, joined her, their laughter echoing. The city's lights danced, and Elara knew her thread was her own, strong, unbroken, woven with resilience.